The general shape of a grass, which is dominated by the shape of the flowering region, the inflorescence or the top bit of the grass, cannot be used alone to describe or identify a grass plant. However, it is very useful. The book Grasses of the New South Wales Tablelands uses this part of the plant as a first step. You then need to know the other terms involving the smaller details, but it's a great starting point. An inflorescence, the flowering area, has some basic elements. A central stem, which we call the rachis, where the spikelets can be attached directly or sitting on little small stalks called pedicels. In other cases, there is multiple branching and then the little spikelets. Let's go through the basic arrangements referred to in grass ID books. Spikes. In a spike, the little spikelets, that's the little flowers with their cradling glooms, are attached to directly to the main axis or stem. That is, the spikelets are sessile, from the Latin word to sit. Ryegrass, Lolium species, and barleygrass, the Hordeum species, are examples of such grasses locally. The next variation in an inflorescence is the raceme. In a raceme, the spikelets, the little flowers with their accompanying glooms, are attached to the main axis by very short stalks, which are called pedicels, which may be difficult to see, however they're there. This inflorescence type is uncommon, however. Examples are the hillside burrgrass or the noxious spiny burrgrass. Primary axis or stem of racemes. In a primary axis of racemes, there are racemes emerging from the main stem, more or less like small branches. A common example of this is paspalum. The digitate inflorescence. A digitate inflorescence has two or more branches radiating from the one point, much like your fingers radiate from the core of your hand. Their spikelets are usually sessile, sometimes very, very shortly stalked with those little pedicels. Examples are windmill grass or Queensland bluegrass. Nature often does things in half measures, and in nature and in grasses there's an inflorescence called subdigitate, and what this means is that there's very small space between each of the branches coming off. They almost at a distance look like they're coming off at the one point, but when you get closer you see that small gap. Examples of these locally are redgrass and cotton panic. Several grasses have the talent for exhibiting both digitate and subdigitate inflorescences, such as summergrass and silky brown top. Panicles. Panicles cover about 60% of the grasses we have about. A panicle is where the little spikelets, that's the glooms and their little florets, are hurled on a branch which comes out from the main stem. And sometimes that branch can divide again. It's called secondary branching, and it's there that you find the little spikelets. The branches can be difficult to see in what's called narrowly contracted plants, such as Phalaris. It just looks like a cigar, but if you bend the top of that little cigar-shaped head, you will see that branching structure. A branching structure which is obvious in the local grass is the poa or snow grasses. There the branching can be seen. You can stand 1 metre, 2 metres away and you can see the branching. Another inflorescence type is what's called Spithate inflorescence, and that is where a leaf or a leaf-like structure is in fact in amongst and coming off the main stem, but in amongst all the flowering material. Common one there for us locally is kangaroo grass. Sometimes it's hard to find the inflorescence. Have you ever noticed the fine white threads just above kikuyu leaves? These are kikuyu stamens, male reproductive organs projecting from the florets, which are hidden inside the upper leaf sheaths. The inflorescence itself is a very small, dense, spike-like panicle which rarely emerges. The scientific name for kikuyu is Centris clandestinus, from the Latin for hidden. There's a range, as we've shown, of different inflorescences. They're extremely useful starting point or also confirming point when you're identifying your grasp. But they generally on their own can't do the job for you. You need to have some knowledge of the more detailed sections of the grass, but they're certainly very handy.